Bam, guys! So the 2020 Academy Awards are just a few days away, so the time has come for me to make a predictions video as to who I think is going to win in all 24 of the categories. The Oscars are this Sunday, February 9th, and I will be watching them, and I'll be doing a reactions and discussion video as to who the winners were, who the surprises were, what the fashion was like, if there was any drama. So yeah, if you don't want to miss that video, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I should say, sometimes my picks for the Oscars do change. Like even on Oscars night, I sometimes change my mind and put someone else in my predictions slot on Gold Derby. So if you want to see my full list of updated predictions on the night, you can follow me on the Gold Derby website as well. I'll put a link below if you want to see who my final predictions were. So I have in my hand my notepad of all my predictions as to who I think are going to win the Oscars this coming Sunday. So yeah, I'm going to go through all 24 categories. Most of them I'll just go speedily through. A few of them will have a little bit more of a discussion because there's more to talk about or it's a tighter race. I'm going to kick things off with Best Supporting Actress. This is an easy one. Like, your safe money is on Laura Dern to win this one. She has been sweeping all the Best Supporting Actress awards this award season. It's her year. She has been nominated for Oscars before. She was nominated for Ramblin' Rose and Wild. No wins yet, but yeah, she's also on like the board of governors of the Oscars as well. So the smart money is she's taking it home. Let's move on to Best Supporting Actor. You don't need to worry about this one. This is Brad Pitt's year. He is so beloved. I think he's actually gained more love over award season because all his acceptance speeches and all the award ceremonies, the Globes, the BAFTAs, what have you, he's been so charming, so lovely. They love him for it. And yeah, they're gonna wanna see him up on that stage getting his first Oscar for acting. He has won an Oscar once before, but that's producing 12 Years a Slave. So, yep, Brad Pitt is the one to put your money on. So let's move on to the sound categories. Okay, now this is one where I'm not 100% certain. Let's do sound editing first, then I'll do sound mixing. But for sound editing, I think it's between two films. It's either going to be 1917 or Ford v Ferrari. I feel like 1917 has a bit more of an advantage because it's a war film. It's got a little bit more of momentum in the whole Best Picture race, so it feels like more people will want to sort of support that. Whereas Ford v Ferrari though, the sound editing in that was just so crisp. It put you in those race cars. It really felt like you were there, and I loved that. And I would want to see Ford v Ferrari win it, but I'm going to put my prediction at 1917. So let's move on to sound mixing. And again, often the sound editing and sound mixing go hand in hand. So I think it is going to be 1917 as well for sound mixing. But if Ford v Ferrari does show up and win either one of these, then I'm going to be happy about that. But I feel 1917, it's just the movie of the moment, and like it's really fresh in the Academy's minds, and like they're really thinking about it right now because it's only just come out in cinemas, what, a month ago. So it feels like it's got that little bit more of an edge. Editing! Now, when it comes to Best Editing, this is an interesting one because I originally thought, you know, Ford v Ferrari might have a chance at this because yes, normally the flashier films tend to win. I mean, God, last year Bohemian Rhapsody managed to win Best Editing, but that was mainly just because of the Live Aid scene. But yeah, this is why I thought Ford v Ferrari might win, because what they show will be the race car footage to all the Academy voters. But I think it's going to be Parasite. It's got so much love, this film. I think it is going to be sort of the dark horse of the night. Parasite deserves to win it because of how masterfully it handles its tonal shifts, and also the whole montage scene with the peach. Yeah, it deserves it. It's gotta be Parasite. I hope it's Parasite. Okay, so let's move on to Best International Film, because yeah, we were just talking about Parasite. It's pretty much a lock, this one. It's going to be Parasite. All right, now let's move on to the screenplay categories, because this is where it's quite tough this year. Okay, so now for Best Original Screenplay, from the get-go, since I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I was like, yeah, it's Tarantino. Like, he's won it twice before for Django Unchained and Pulp Fiction. If he does win Best Original Screenplay, then Quentin Tarantino will tie with Woody Allen for the most wins for Best Original Screenplay in Oscars history. But I don't think it is going to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I am putting my money on Parasite, because, baby, it won at the BAFTAs. It also won Best Original Screenplay at the Writers Guild Award, which is a very reliable indicator as to who's going to win this at the Academy Awards. I do think that it's got the edge, Parasite over Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If it does win Best Original Screenplay as well, Parasite will be only the 6th international film in history to win Best Original Screenplay. The last time it happened was back in 2002 for Pedro Almodovar's Talk to Her. I think, yeah, Parasite is the one that's going to take home Best Original Screenplay. Now let's get on to Best Adapted Screenplay, which I actually think is the harder category of the two screenplays this year. And I see it as a three-way race at the moment, because I think it's between Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, and The Irishman. Out of all three of these, I think, I'm wrestling with a decision now, because I really don't know. I feel like Jojo Rabbit, in my heart, is the film that I think is going to win this, because I think the Academy loves this film. There's a lot of love for it, and I don't think Jojo Rabbit can really win in a whole lot of the categories, really, and if it is going to win somewhere, I think I can see it winning Best Adapted Screenplay. However, Little Women does have a strong chance, because, for one thing, Greta Gerwig, who who directed the film, didn't get a nomination for Best Director. So this could be a situation where the Academy feels like they owe her something, and if she obviously can't win in Best Director because she's not nominated, then she could win for Best Adapted Screenplay. But yeah, it feels very timely. It's a very feminist film as well, and considering all the backlash that the Academy has had, then yeah, this could be a way for them to polish themselves up, look a little bit more respectable for it. Irishman, though, is one where I thought this was the early frontrunner for Best Adapted Screenplay. The really sad thing about The Irishman is that it could be a film that goes away from the Academy Awards with absolutely nothing. And that is a real possibility at the moment. The Irishman could be the winner here. I mean, it's unlikely, but it could still just sort of like sneak in there, because it's just like, okay, where do we honor The Irishman? Maybe we give it Best Adapted Screenplay, but yeah, I do think Jojo Rabbit and Little Women have an edge. It's gonna be one of those three, but my heart says Jojo Rabbit, and Little Women will win in another category somewhere else. We'll get to that. I'm gonna put my money on Jojo Rabbit. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, what do you guys think? If you agree with me, disagree, do get involved in the comment section below. Any of these categories, I do want to hear who you think is gonna win with all these categories. So yeah, but let's move on. We got to get to Animated Feature. This is an interesting one, because from the get-go, when Toy Story 4 came out, I was like, okay, it's Pixar, it's Toy Story, it's a beloved franchise, it's gonna win. But it was Missing Link that won at the Golden Globes, and then at the BAFTAs, it was Klaus, and there is a lot of love for Klaus, but I want to say it's Toy Story 4 because it is the most commercial, it's the most mainstream, it's got the brand recognition of the Toy Story franchise, which gives me that safety net saying that, oh, more people will have seen it, so that's why they will vote for it. But yeah, the evidence to the contrary is that it hasn't won at a lot of the other big award ceremonies, so I don't feel 100% confident that it's Toy Story 4, but I'm still gonna put my bet on Toy Story 4 to win it. It's Pixar, people just love the Toy Story movies, and Toy Story 4, even though it might not have been as good as Toy Story 3, it's still a phenomenal movie, and yeah, loads of people love it, so I think it is gonna be Toy Story 4. So let's move on to Animated Short. I think it's going to be Hair Love, because of the whole affiliation with Kobe Bryant. The only other film that I could see maybe getting there is Kitful. Again, it's Pixar and it's female directed as well, which could be a nice little boost for it. My money is on Hair Love. Documentary feature. I'm putting my money on American Factory. Again, female directed as well, or co-directed anyways, for Julia Reichardt, but yeah, I think it is going to be American Factory. However, I can see For Sama maybe taking it, or potentially even Honeyland as well. My money's on American Factory. Documentary short. I think it's going to be Learning to Skateboard in a War Zone If You're a Girl. It's won plenty of awards so far. The only other film that might take it is St. Louis Superman. That's where I put my second vote, but yeah, I'm going with Learning to Skateboard in a War Zone If You're a Girl. Makeup and hairstyling. I mean, there's nothing really to say. It's bombshell. It's by the same team that did The Darkest Hours, the makeup, the hairstyles, flawless. I didn't even know it was Charlize Theron underneath all that makeup when I first saw the trailer. So yeah, it deserves makeup and hairstyling. It's been sweeping all the awards. 100% lock. There's no wiggle room. It's gonna be that. Best original song. To be honest, I think this is a pretty underwhelming category this year. Into the Unknown arguably is the best song for me personally, but again, it lives in the shadow of Frozen's Let It Go. Like, you know, it's just not at the same level. But yeah, when it comes to this category, it's hard to tell because my instinct would say Into the Unknown, but I think it could be I'm Gonna Love Me Again, because it's Elton John, and you know, the Academy loves Elton John, and I feel like, you know, it would be nice for them to see him up on that stage receiving a next Oscar. And yeah, I think it is going to be a win for Rocketman. It wouldn't completely surprise me if maybe Cynthia Erivo got up there for her song Stand Up for Harriet, but I just don't know if enough people have seen it because the movie, it was kind of met with lukewarm reviews. Not a whole lot of people loved it, so it doesn't have the same word of mouth love as, say, Rocketman or Frozen 2. Yeah, my money's on I'm Gonna Love Me Again. Alright, so let's move on to Best Original Score. I'm gonna mispronounce her name. It's Hilda Guanadutir. God, sorry, she did the score for Joker. I think it is going to be her because she has got the BAFTA and she's won a bunch of the other awards as well over award season. But I don't know, I'm not 100% sold on it. I feel like Thomas Newman does have a little bit of an outside chance because he's been nominated 15 times for an Oscar and he's never won, okay? He's kind of like Roger Deakins was for cinematography a few years ago when he finally won his first Oscar for Blade Runner 2049. But yeah, Thomas Newman has never won an Oscar before and he's done some phenomenal soundtracks. Yeah, Hilda, what's her name? Guanadutir has just been, you know, taking home the trophies. I personally want her to win as well, because the score in Joker, it's the one that sticks out to me in my mind the most. When I think about the movies, the score in Joker, it's just the scene, you know, he's in the bathroom doing the dance and, you know, the strings. It's haunting, it's evocative, it's passionate, it stays with you. Whereas when I think of 1917, it almost feels a bit like a Mission Impossible style score. It does the job effectively, but there's no emotional resonance for me. So I hope it is Joker that takes it home, and I hope Hilda wins it. Oh, I need to check that fact. I don't know when the last time a woman even won this. So I need to, that's another fact for me to check. If you know, comment section below. I want to know who was the last female to take home the best score at the Oscars. Yeah, help me. Okay, so let's move on to, this is actually a hard one. It's visual effects. Some people are going to be saying, oh, it's Avengers Endgame because it's the highest grossing movie of all time, you know. The Academy's gonna want to honor it somewhere, and like, you know, Thanos. But it's a hard one because I feel like 1917 as well has the whole best picture momentum behind it as well. The visual effects in it are very subtle, you don't even notice it. But then you have a film like The Lion King, and even though the movie I didn't like at all, the visual effects are indisputably amazing. It's the selling point. It's the only thing that The Lion King has going for it. When I look at all the nominees for visual effects, if I was an Academy voter, I'd go, visual effects. The one that jumps into my head immediately is The Lion King because it's all about the visual effects. Every character is a visual effect. Every setting is a visual effect. Whereas, you know, 1917, there's practicality to it, and there is, you know, visual effects in it, but it's more subtle and it's harder to tell. Avengers Endgame certainly has wonderful visual effects in it, and Thanos is so convincing. It's a tough one because The Lion King, you know, the Jungle Book won Best Visual Effects not too long ago as well. So again, directed by Jon Favreau. And yes, this could be a case where the Academy just sees The Lion King, you know, for its visual effects and gives it a nod for that. That's the thing. Even The Irishman as well could be the one where... Where do we honor The Irishman? Do we do it with the de-aging software? Because yeah, that was front and center as well. It's a tough one, this one, honestly. My head would say go with 1917. I don't know, I feel this could be an upset. I feel like this could be a shocker. And my heart's saying The Lion King, so I don't think everyone's gonna agree with it, and I could be very much wrong, but I'm going to put my bet on Best Visual Effects with The Lion King. Anyway, I'll move on now. Costume design is next. And again, this is a little bit of a hard one, but I think I'm going to put my money on Little Women because firstly, it's a period film. The costumes are so essential to it being, you know, a period film, and they're so beautifully done. I think it's Jacqueline Duran who did the costumes, and yeah, she's certainly worthy of it. The other two that I think have an outside chance are Jojo Rabbit and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, again, another period film, but yeah, the costumes are gorgeous, they're lavish. Then again, Jojo Rabbit as well, I love the costumes in that, and I could see it potentially winning it as well. It's just, I think Little Women does have the edge, and it's going to be Little Women. So that's why my money is at, but yeah, let me know if you disagree. Production design. God, this is another hard one. I want Parasite to win it. The house in Parasite is almost like a character in itself. It's so essential to the plot. It is, so much happens in the movie in it. It's so beautifully done, the production design in Parasite. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, oh, they recreated so much of like 1960s Hollywood in actual Hollywood. I can't believe they did that. And like, it's so convincing. It's so well done. But then again, there's also 1917. And when you think about the fact that it's a one take sort of movie and how they had to time everything precisely to the actors' movements where they moved within in the trenches and no man's land and all the sets that they go ducking, diving, weaving through. It takes a lot of planning, and yeah, I could see 1917 also winning this category. This is a tough one. God, if I had to pick one, I feel like 1917 is gonna win so many of the technical awards anyways, but I feel like they are gonna wanna honor Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I feel like, you know, production design could be a strong place for it to win. So yeah, I'm gonna go Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Alright, so let's move on to cinematography. No question, it's gonna be 1917 for Roger Deakins. The cinematography is just masterful in 1917. It's his, he's gonna get it. Alright, let's move on to short film, live action. I've gone with The Neighbor's Window. To be honest, I haven't seen many of these films. The only other one that I've seen is Brotherhood. It does have a chance, but I still think it's gonna be The Neighbor's Window. I think it's #1 on Gold Derby as well, so that's why I'm leaning that way. It's not because, you know, I have a preference for it. It's just more based on statistics and stuff. So yeah, I'm going with The Neighbor's Window for short film. Best actress, Renee Zellweger. She's taken out her second Oscar. She won way back in, what, 2004 was it? Or 2003 for Cold Mountain. That was Best Supporting Actress. But yeah, she's been away. She's had this lovely renaissance and renaissance. Just came up with that, I like that. She's had a renaissance, and she's, yeah, come back with a performance, you know, very touching, albeit, you know, by the numbers, biopic about Judy Garland, one of the Academy's own. They love honoring performances like that, and it was a transformative performance. She put her own stamp on it. She was magnificent. She's been sweeping all the awards. It's Renee Zellweger's. She's getting a second Oscar. Yeah, it's happening. Then we move on to Best Actor. Now, this is the only one of the 4 acting categories where I have a little bit of doubt in my mind where I can see it going to someone else, like in an upset kind of way. By all statistics, this is Joaquin Phoenix's to take home because he has been dominating the award season, and I want him to win. I love Joaquin Phoenix in Joker. He is the movie. He is in every single scene. It's his time, okay? He has been nominated for Oscars 3 times. Walk the Line, The Master, and Gladiator. Those were his 3 films where he was nominated for acting performances. But yeah, this is his year. It's his turn. He is well respected within the industry. Yeah, he gives a tour de force performance in Joker. Transformative as well. Physically, he changed his body. The Academy loves that. It is his to win, but there's still that lingering tiny bit of doubt that Adam Driver could be the one. Just sneaks in right at the end and gets Best Actor, just surprisingly, because the critics absolutely adored Adam Driver for Marriage Story. I still think Joaquin is going to win it, but if there's going to be an upset, it'll be Adam Driver beating Joaquin Phoenix. Oh, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure the 4 acting categories are gonna turn out the way we think they're gonna turn out. But yeah, this is the one just to be a little bit wary of until they read the name out. Move on to the penultimate category. Best Director. This is another one where I'm not 100% certain. I think it's going to be Sam Mendes for 1917. He's won so many of the awards. Yeah, he won the Directors Guild Award, which is a very, very reliable indicator as to who is going to win Best Director at the Oscars as well. He's got the support. But there's a part of me that thinks that maybe Bong Joon-ho could still win it because he is so loved by the Academy. Parasite has made so much noise. There's so much love for both the film and him for what he's done with it. It would be so lovely to see Bong Joon-ho win it, but then there's also the argument that even Quentin Tarantino could win it this year. I don't think he will, but this is his penultimate film. A lot of people think he's overdue for a directing win, and like some people think maybe this is where this will be their best chance to honor him with the Best Director nod. I don't think Quentin Tarantino is completely out of the race, but at the same time, I still think Sam Mendes is the safe bet. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sam Mendes. This will be his second Best Director win. His first was for American Beauty. God, that was back in like 1999. Yeah, this will be his second win for Best Director. But if Bong Joon-ho did win it, I would be so happy. Like, you'd think I'd be on Team Mendes because he's British, but yeah, I really want Bong Joon-ho to win it. This kind of brings me into the whole Best Picture the Best Picture category, because the Best Director and Best Picture do have a history of going hand in hand. Best Picture though, God, give me 1 year where I feel comfortable with a Best Picture winner, because the last 4 years I have incorrectly guessed the Best Picture winner, and this year is just as hard. I'm even more lost this year than I was last year. The top 3 for Best Director were Quentin Tarantino, Bong Joon-ho, and Sam Mendes. And again, it's their films that are vying for Best Picture. It could be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it could be Parasite, and it could also be 1917. From least likely to most likely, I'd say Once Upon a Time is the least likeliest to win, followed by Parasite, and then 1917 currently I think is the most likely to win, based on like how many people on Gold Derby are thinking it's going to be Best Picture. But I don't think it's 100% locked in there. I have so much doubt as to who I think could win this, because my head says it's 1917, okay? My heart wants it to be Parasite. But at the same time, I do think, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood does have an outside chance. You gotta remember, this category is a preferential ballot system as well, so it's different to the other categories. It's not a popular vote. There's more flexibility here. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Tarantino's penultimate film. It's a film that's all about Hollywood, so it's a film where a lot of the Academy members will see themselves in it, so they might be more inclined to vote for it. And also they might want to honor Quentin Tarantino with a Best Picture win because, he has produced consistently amazing work for his whole career, and the Academy might want to make sure that it's in the history books that he has won a Best Picture at some point. 1917 though is kind of like the Birdman of this year. It's the whole one-take gimmick, but it's so beautifully executed. It's a technical masterpiece. It's a war film. The Academy does love a war film, and it just won like 7 BAFTAs as well, so it definitely has the momentum. It's really come in at the right time. And then there's Parasite, which is the total underdog film because an international film has never ever won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. However though, this could be the film that does it because there is so much love for Parasite. First of all, it won the SAG Ensemble Award, which is, the SAG's equivalent to Best Picture. But for Parasite, its biggest hurdle is that because it's pretty much a lock for Best International Feature, that a lot of Academy members feel like, oh, we've already honored it in one area, do we need to honor it again for Best Picture? My heart says Parasite, but my head says 1917. In the last 3 years, I've always gone with my heart because it's something I really, really want to see win, and I keep expecting the Academy to do the right thing, but I should have listened to my head because I went with Roma, and it went to Green Book. The year before that, I went with 3 Billboards, but it went to The Shape of Water. And the year before that, I went for La La Land, and it went to Moonlight. Do I want to go with my heart this year, thinking that the Academy might be ready to finally crown a foreign language film as their Best Picture? I always want them to make history, but very rarely does the Academy make history. I mean, look at last year with Green Book winning. This could be a year where they do end up splitting the Best Director and Best Picture. Like, this could be a case of 1917 winning Best Film and Bong Joon-ho takes home the Best Director. And it could just as easily be the other way around, with Parasite winning Best Picture and Sam Mendes getting Best Director. But it could also just be a year where the director and the Best Picture go hand in hand. I could see Sam Mendes and 1917 being the winners of Best Picture and Best Director, and the optimist in me says that Parasite could still be the dark horse and take home Best Director and Best Picture. But, you know, it's wishful thinking. 1917 definitely has a better shot of winning both the awards over Parasite does. But I do think it is a two-way race between them, because both Parasite and 1917 have both won 4 of the Guild Awards apiece. Parasite has won the SAG Ensemble, the Writers Guild Original Screenplay, the American Cinema Editors, the Drama category, and the Art Directors Guild Award for Contemporary Design, whereas 1917 it's won the Producers Guild Award, the Directors Guild Award, the American Society of Cinematography, and the MPSE. But the most reliable indicator for predicting the Best Picture at the Oscars is the recipient of the Producers Guild Award, and that went to 1917. Based on statistics, it's most likely to win the Best Picture at the Oscars as well. Since 2009, when the Producers Guild Awards and the Academy Awards became a preferential ballot vote, the best film at the Producers Guild Awards has matched the Best Picture at the Oscars all but twice. Back in 2015, it was The Big Short that won the Producers Guild Award, but the Oscar went to Spotlight. And then the very next year, 2016, La La Land won the Producers Guild Award, but Best Picture went to Moonlight. Could Parasite or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood do the same, even though Producers Guild Award went to 1917 this year? The Academy often does pick a film that feels more safer or conventional, and 1917 definitely is a safer, more conventional pick than Parasite. For one thing, it's a war film. The Academy loves war films, but also as a film, there wasn't that much backlash to it. I mean, some people said there wasn't a lot of emotionality in it, and that, you know, sometimes it felt like a video game, but generally it pleases the masses. And you gotta remember as well, the Academy is still predominantly made up of older white men. They still make up the majority of the Academy DNA. So if we look at the category through a gender stereotyping lens, then the older, whiter male members of the Academy are more likely to vote for a war film than, say, the societal thriller Parasite, because they're stodgy old farts. But I do need to reiterate that the Academy's biggest branch of voters is actors. A lot of actors have verbally confirmed to the public and the press that they are championing Parasite to win. And also the fact that the acting categories were made up of predominantly white people, there could be an incentive for people to lean more toward Parasite to win Best Picture, because it's a way for them to assuage their guilt of having so many white people represented in the acting categories that they can make themselves feel a little bit better because they've chosen a film which is made up with people of color as a Best Picture film. It's a way for them to make themselves look better, to put them in a better light. If 1917 does win, it will be the first war film since Catherine Bigelow's The Hurt Locker to win Best Picture since 2009. But it will also be the first Best Picture winner since 2004's $1 Million Baby not to have had its debut at a big prestigious film festival like Cannes, Venice, Toronto, Telluride. But if Parasite wins, it makes history. It's the first international film ever to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards, which is so American. Is it time for a Best Foreign Language film? I thought it was going to be with Roma last year, but where Parasite has an advantage over Roma is that Roma was more art-housey, it was more slow, it definitely had its haters as well, whereas Parasite, everyone seems to love this film. Like, I haven't found anyone that doesn't like Parasite. The critics love it, audiences love it, but is it enough for it to win Best Picture? And that's the thing, like, my head says 1917, my heart says Parasite. I've been let down by the Academy so many times. I keep waiting for them to do the right thing, but they consistently don't. I should be just going with my head. I'm expecting to be disappointed this year. If 1917 wins, I won't be upset because it does deserve it, but I'll be more happier if Parasite wins because it's the underdog and it is, in my opinion, the better film out of the two of them. And it just would mean so much more to history if Parasite wins. When it comes down to it, I just gotta vote for it. So I'm gonna put my vote for the 2020 Best Picture as, it's a flipping coin toss. God, I'm gonna put it as Parasite. I'm going with my heart. I live in hope. I have to live in hope, because if I don't have hope, then what is there left? Please, 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 Academy, let's just go into the new decade with a foreign language film. Something as game-changing, as magnificent, as masterful as Parasite. Please, 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 God, let it be Parasite. That would be like Christmas and my birthday coming at once. I turn 30 next year, yeah. That's what I want for my 30th birthday. I want Parasite to win Best Picture at the 2020 Academy Awards. There we go. I'm done. Those are my predictions for all 24 categories at the 2020 Academy Awards. You can follow my updated predictions in the Gold Derby link. I'll put that in the comment section below. All my social media stuff is down there as well. Twitter, Instagram. Of course, I will be doing a reactions discussion video of the 2020 Academy Awards the day after the Oscars. So if you don't want to miss that, don't forget to click subscribe. And of course, please do let me know in the comment section below, what are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen at the 2020 Academy Awards? Whatever you think, be sure to let your voice be heard in that comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Airfield, and I'll see you next time.